So let's kickstart today's event with our first talk, which is on positive education. And I'm very happy and excited to be introducing to you our special guest speaker this morning. His name is Shaleen Porwal. So Shaleen is a dear alumnus of the school, and he's also a very close friend of ours. And if you were to ask me to describe him in one word, I thought about it, and I feel that the most appropriate word to describe him is passionate. And why do I say so? Because Shaleen is passionate about learning. He has a background in engineering, and he has an MBA, and he completed 3 courses here at our school, including the graduate diploma in applied positive psychology, the postgraduate diploma in positive education strategies, and he recently completed the Master of Science in Applied Positive Psychology at Anglia Ruskin University. So congratulations, Shaleen.
Thank you.
And Shaleen is also very passionate about learning as well as applying positive psychology to positively impact the lives of the people around him, especially in his family and in his parenting. And he's also passionate about sharing what he's learned in positive parenting with parents not only in Singapore, but also outside of Singapore, including the talk that he gave recently in Vietnam to parents in Vietnam to share with them how they could improve their relationships with their children. And he also recently presented his work on charisma, which is a positive education framework for parents, at the International Positive Psychology Association World Congress. Wow, that's great achievement, Shaleen.
Thank you.
Right, so I'm all ears to hear more from Shaleen and to share his expertise as well as insights and thoughts on how parents can make or break a child's education. So let's welcome Shaleen.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jane, for this wonderful words of yours. I really feel obliged. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, all of you, for coming on this Saturday. It's wonderful to see all you lovely people today. Today, my talk will be, as Kate mentioned, that I am very much passionate, especially about the relationships of parents with their child and how that relationship can make or break a child's education. The next slide. Okay.
Yeah, can you see paper here? Yes, correct.
Thank you. Well, so what is positive education? Well, actually, if we come to define that, we can define it in different ways. But we have to also look at it that how have we come over here? Let's look at very briefly the history of psychology. So we started our journey of psychology about a century ago, and most of the century was traditional psychology, which means that what we do is that experts in the field of psychology, they try to find that what are some of the negative factors which are affecting the human behavior, and that includes every human. And then they try to find out what are the possible solutions. In a way, we can say that if the person is not feeling well in their behavior, let's say they are at -5, how to bring them to a functional level, that is to 0 or +1. But what happened is that at the turn of the last century, there was a team of experts who were thinking that is there a preventive approach? That is, why do we always try to fix problems in humans? There are so many beautiful things to learn about, but that has something which has to be translated into science and research. And that is where the team developed a field called positive psychology, where we started looking at the other side of the number line and see that what are some of the positive attributes or the positive things in a human that can help them flourish and make them even better. That is to say, a preventive approach. So then, the application of those tenets or the research or the evidence that we have found in positive psychology is what we do in positive education, especially in the settings where we are very much passionate about appreciating and improving the human behavior such that they can be empowered with the well-being skills, the social-emotional skills for their strong mental health. For example, in family setting, where we have parents, children, uncles, aunties, siblings, cousins, and the like, or in schools and universities. For example, students, teachers, and staff members. Now, why are we talking all of this today? Let's have a look. I would like you to please go through this slide for a few seconds, and I'll keep myself quiet. Well, I hope that you might have gone through it. I understand that the information which is presented here on this slide is not a comfortable one. It is a very concerning one. And it is a very difficult situation for those people who are going through it and the family members of those who are going through it. But this information or this statistics also states and tells us that there is something which we have missed out. And it is the time that we have to start working on that. Needless to say, there are organizations who are already working to make the situations better. For example, the Institute of Mental Health in Singapore, and there are other ministries in Singapore, like Ministry of Social and Family Welfare, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Culture and Community and Youth. They all are doing their part so that the people of Singapore can be educated and the mental health of the people can be promoted. But it is only as much as they can do. I believe that we all have our part in this, a role to play, so that we can actually work on one person at a time within our community, within the room where we are, within the house where we live in. And it is that collective responsibility, it is that collective effort which is going to make the bigger change. Now, this is psychology, but I also want to help you understand that along with psychology, there is a team of researchers who are working in the field of neuroscience to help understand that why is this needed. So for that, I would like to introduce to Dr. Daniel J. Siegel, who has given a neuropsychological perspective. What he has done is that he has given a very handy model of brain. So what happens is, the behavior that you have seen in the last slide that people are attributing is because there is a disconnect between their emotional function of the brain and the cortex function of the brain. So I will introduce to this model. If this is your hand and this is your palm is your brain stem, and this brain stem is your 300 million year old reptilian brain. This here is your limbic system where most of the emotions are formed, which is around 200 million years old when we were forming into mammalians. And after that, with the advanced humans that we have become, the cortex function has started building in. Now, over the evolution, there is a smaller segment of the brain which is a prefrontal cortex over here. Now, this connectivity between the prefrontal cortex, which makes a sense of the entire world with us, where we take all the cognitive decisions, this connectivity with the emotions is not built appropriately when people are starting to face these problems, because there is a cellular level connection, which is called a connection between the neurons, between the prefrontal cortex and the limbic system of your brain, where the emotions are being categorized or being felt. Now, why do we need to, why am I saying this? Because there has been a very ambitious project on human connectome. So this connection which I just explained, this has been done in the last decade, and it has actually given us a lot of information that why do we need to understand the brain behavior relationship. You can when you go through this on your free time, the references are provided to you for you to go. What I want to help you understand here is that there is a lot of research if you want to explore at your disposal. Let's move on to the next slide. And speaking about myself, let me share with you a glimpse of my journey, that how have I started over here in the field of psychology. So, it was not very long, around 3.5 or 4 years ago, that I was struggling as a parent to establish a healthy relationship with my child. And there was everyday struggle to understand each other's behaviors. And I'm sure that this happens in every family. But the problem is that since we are not aware about solutions, therefore the things start escalating. Likewise, what I used to do is, bombarded with my opinions, thoughts, and beliefs, and I could not provide any helpful interventions whenever there was a challenge between me and my child. So what happened? It depleted the quality of my relationship. Relationship is again the passionate word which I will always say in my presentation, because it is all about the relationship that we see in our lives which makes us feel belonged. And then it ended up in two regrets. Well, this is a story around 2.5 years ago, but then when my journey started at TSPP, with continuous education, research, analysis, and practice, I realized and I have elevated myself on the clarity on factors which are outside my ambit. So instead of wasting my time into all other things which are affecting me, I started focusing on what is the good part in us. What is the good between my relationship and my child's and me and my child's relationship? For that, the first thing I did, I started listening to him. I started observing him more. That gave me the eyes. That gave that gave me the skills to understand him much better. And we started having good argument-based dialogues. Instead of fighting on a matter, we started having rational discussions. And that gave us a deeper understanding of each other's intentions and reasons. We know that there is no parent who has bad intentions for their children. It is just that in the absence of the awareness or the lack of knowledge, that is where the relationship starts tarnishing. But once you equip with yourself, you will start changing that for yourself. And this is possible through unconditional love. Now, as every person would think that why are these things happening to me? Likewise, I started thinking that why am I having such negative relationship earlier, and now all of a sudden, well, it was not all of a sudden, it was around 3.5 to 4 years, that why the things have changed so fast and why the things are changing so well. I realized that I had no knowledge of human behavior. We all have been studying into different fields of our lives. For example, myself, I have been professionally educated in technology, I have been educated in business management, but then I did know very little about human behavior. And this is where my journey to the solution-focused approach started at the School of Positive Psychology. And I thank Stephen because I, coming from a non-psychology background, I was feeling welcomed here. I feel a sense of belonging here, which helped me to make myself open to learning. I thank to Yana, who was my lecturer in the graduate diploma in applied positive psychology, because she introduced me to the science of appreciating the human behavior. And so thanks to Ilona, because she has understood that I am very much passionate again, and she promoted my skills to the positive education strategies. She was my lecturer in the module of postgraduate diploma in positive education strategies. So by now, I think more or less you might be aware that why are parents so crucial in a child's education? Because it is all of the skills and the relationships that we are having, they are providing the resilience to the children. And because of this resilience that they have, that is the connection between this prefrontal cortex and the emotional center of the brain, that they felt calm, they felt belonged in a house with parents. Because everyone seeks to have a very good friend. Now, again, about relationship. So what can we do to improve the quality of our relationship? Well, we have to first of all understand that we are living in a different set of world. The challenges have changed, and there is a lot of uncertainty around. So we have to understand that the focus has shifted from being physically strong to also being mentally strong. And that is where we have to ensure that our behavior with our children is such that they feel safe to share whatever problems that they are having, to be able to share the emotions that they are suffering from. This will help you and your child to bring a high level of mutual trust and create a pathway, a gateway for them to be able to come to you, to approach you in times of their distress. It is that distress which happens when they see that I am not being calm, I am not in peace, so their connection with their limbic system breaks, and they are not able to become resilient, and the pain or the suffering that continues. But this connection you can build at your home with your child by being with them in an unconditional love setting and providing that pathway. With that, children will feel free to share their emotional challenges and they will not be having as much pain or as much suffering as we have seen in the previous slide. That is to say, being their true friend. So what are some of the key skills? Well, again, I will say that children are not mini adults. It might seem that they are in a smaller proportion, but their prefrontal cortex is yet to develop. It is not as ours. So what happens is that this lower portion of their brain is still in the development phase, and this is where you as expert can come in and help them to develop a phase of secure connection. So researchers have been done a lot about secure attachment between parent and child, and now with the new advanced research in neuroscience, we have shown that why is it important? Because we are talking about cellular level. Every interaction that you have with your child has a great and deep impact on their brain, on their minds, and this is where they start making their beliefs. With those beliefs only the behavior changes, and it is a long process. It does not happen overnight. You might be able to read or do a course, but again, it's all about the practice that you do with that course, the knowledge that you acquire from here. That is going to help in the long run. So please be with them. Whenever they need it, they actually ask for you. Please be with them. Please provide that hug, that warmth, whenever they feel distress. Because it is in those distress where the strong connections will happen. And with those strong connections, their cells will become strengthened. And with the strengthened cells, they will know that in times of distress, I don't have to worry. I just have to calm down and connect to my whole self. Please start listening more. I know that it is, as adults, we have the strong urge to always keep saying and keep giving solutions immediately as and when the children come up with a problem, but it might not help at most of the times, because what they are seeking for is a person who can listen to whatever emotions or whatever things that they are going through. That is saying words that I hear you. I can feel it, what you are saying. I have been through as well. Saying words like, it is only human to have been feeling like this. This makes them that they are not an exception. This makes them feel that they are not out of this world. They are also a human and they can go through it. And this is just the start. With the compassion, you can develop an emotional regulation system, a stronger emotional regulation system in your children. So what can parents do to facilitate more optimal learning in children? Well, we know that when we are not at rest, it is very difficult to focus our attention on studies or anything, or any activity. We feel disengaged. And this is where, as I discussed previously, you can develop those skills in children. And to start with, you can develop a sense of strength culture, develop your strengths vocabulary. Here is a list of websites that I have provided you where you can have a look. Well, it depends in your cultural context as well, and depends on your knowledge and your awareness, and you can yourself choose what are some of those strengths that you found are fitting to your home settings, to your office settings, or to your friend settings, likewise. And then there is a lot of research on strengths-based parenting. If you study more about it, you will realize that how applying strengths culture in your family is going to affect your child's performance in school as well. With that information which I have acquired here through the courses and through continuous education, I was able to document my parenting stories on my website, which is the well-being of a child. You can see my child Ivan here. He's 7-year-old when this photograph was taken. Besides, I have been able to, as Kim mentioned already, to come up with a very difficult situation during COVID times when there was an onus on the parents as well to help children in their education, because home-based learning was not as effective as a classroom or in-person setting is. So therefore, I realized, what should I do? I do not have the teacher skills. I am not a trained teacher, and this is where the education came in handy. And then I created up this framework for parents. It's a positive education framework for parents who wish to transcend their parent-child relationship all the way to the teacher and student relationship. It is a 5-stage process. It starts with calm down, positive realization, spotting the strengths, maneuvering the act in which you are, and admiring what all you have achieved. We can go through in detail if you want. You can contact me separately. Then I thought, what is that one framework which, if I want to build for my child, to help my child understand that what they want in their life. And then I realized that there are 5 tenets, which are emotions, strengths culture, positive affectivity, social interactions, and purpose. And this is the first one, emotions, which I have been discussing all this while. Emotions. And after the strengths culture, once your emotions are in place, you can talk to your children in strengths language, as I discussed already. And with strengths culture, what is another advantage which happens is that you both start engaging into activities where your strengths match, or you start engaging more into activities where you feel energized doing it. And with those regular engagements, automatically your bond becomes stronger. There is nothing special that you have to do. All you have to do is just channelize your energy. And this is the latest one which we have done in our home. This is an application of a tenet in the positive psychology by Dr. Martin Seligman of what went well. So what we do is, this is the wall of positive parenting and childing with a hyphen ing here, because I believe that it's not just the parent who has to identify the strengths in the child also can identify the strengths in the parent. And what we do here is that we put small sticky notes of our observations, that can be any random observation about any random thing, and we put them here on the wall. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and likewise. So these are all instances of strength spotting where we have done for each other. So my son, his name is Ivan, he has done for me, he has stuck here 5 of them for myself, where he has appreciated my strengths that I have demonstrated in my behavior towards him. Likewise, I have done for him here 1, 2, 3 over here. This is the latest one. I have another one which is an old one which has many of them. So here I have demonstrated and actually mentioned that the words in which he has put enough effort to demonstrate those strengths. Besides, we are now, because of regular practice, we have become so much fluent and fluid in our communication that I specifically mentioned to him that I may not mollycoddle you always, and I will be challenging to you as well. I might be loving to you unconditionally, but at the same time, I will give you tough time as well. And this is where this framework comes in, where we do authoritative, where I say to him that I am doing authoritative parenting in the house. I'm sorry, you have to deal with that. But that is unconditional. I give him a hug. In fact, when I was coming today towards the school, he was not feeling well, and he said, I don't feel well. And I said, so what can I do for you? He said, can you give me a hug? And so I did. And he felt better. And he said, best of luck for representation. So just a small demonstration. I would like to end my talk today with this quote, that parents' own growth and development or lack of those impact the child's brain. As parents become more aware and emotionally healthy, their children reap the rewards and move towards health as well. That means that integrating and cultivating your own brain is one of the most loving and generous gifts you can give your children. This is by the authors of The Whole Brain Child, Dr. Dennis Siegel and Tina Payne Price. I wish you all the best in creating all your own journeys of well-being with your family. You can please feel free to connect with me. Thank you.